It's that time. It's a few minutes behind, but it's that time. How you doing? My name is Sean Shapiro, and I am here to talk to you about stuff and things. It's just how I roll. Yeah, I'm a former cop, and I am dedicated to making the road safer. Weird, huh? It's something that I feel very, very strongly about, and that's why I'm still doing it, even though I retired. And I have that on the wrong channel, don't I? No, that's on the right channel. Trying to get the background music going. Surprises me every time. I like having the music there. Let me know if it works for you. Anyway, yeah, doing that thing that I do. And hope you're having a good night. I had barbecue tonight, and it's barbecue that I barbecued on my new barbecue because that's what I did with the barbecue. I did the barbecue thing on a new Weber grill that I just picked up, and thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed building as well as cooking on. Yeah, it was awesome. And now I can digest while I chat with you. I got some water because I need to flush. I had too much meat. Is there such a thing? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the right amount every single time you barbecue. What's your favorite thing to cook on the barbecue? That's what I want to know. We're also doing something different. We're having some weird things with the LinkedIn connection. Actually, I should probably put the YouTube thingamabobber on the LinkedIn. Let's just do that while we're doing other things. I will go and take the or do we just leave them out of it? Maybe we leave them out of it tonight. Let them figure it out on their own. So LinkedIn's having technical difficulties, and what I've done is I have gone to my old connection on Twitch and said, let us Twitch. So, motorcycle experience is on Twitch, and it actually links over. Oh, they put the question. Maybe they put the question on both. Yes, I see your questions on YouTube. Is that linking over? Restream bot. Oh, it's taking the YouTube questions and putting them on. Okay, very cool. It's the bot who's doing that over on Twitch. But anyway, very cool. Glad that it's working. Anyway, traffic and police questions, throw them in there. We're also, talking about whatever. I didn't see any voicemails. If you want to send a voicemail, you can. You can always do that by going to askatrafficcop.ca. And there's a widget there that on the right hand side of the screen, you just hit the button, send a voicemail to Sean Shapiro, and guess what? You send a voicemail to Sean Shapiro. It's funny how that works. It's pretty cool. And of course, I can play your audio on the show. Like I said, it's pretty cool. I know. Who would have thunk the technology was there? Okay, making sure I'm live on all the places. I see Chase and Carl Freeman says, "Good evening, Sean." Let's see. Let's start here with Big Jeff Fresh. What's going on, my friend? He says, "Good evening." And we'll come back to motorcycle experience with the questions, just doing the hellos. Carl Freeman says, "Good evening, Sean." Chase puts in a vote for steak. And I got to admit that steak is pretty awesome. Like, it might be my favorite thing ever. However, barbecue burgers is what it was. I bought 2 boxes of burgers because there was only 3 boxes left. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna destroy a box today. Might as well make it 2 boxes and put some in the freezer for tomorrow. Because I can barbecue every day. I don't care. I don't care. Melody says Weber is nice. Yes, and the Weber that they had there, it's natural gas. Okay, a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna get this barbecue business out of the way. $1,600. It's a big Weber that has the upgraded grills, stainless steel. Comes with a cover. It's basically the same price as the smaller one directly from most barbecue shops. But this was a bigger cooking space that would have sold for $2,000 in the stores for $1,600. And I thought it was a good deal. Not that I like dropping $1,600. That hurts, but I need to cook. My other barbecue, my backyard looks like a barbecue wasteland right now. I've got 2 barbecues that need to be trashed, recycled, otherwise disposed of. And the big thing that was with a big shocker at the end was that the valve, the connection to the house, because it's on natural gas, was a different diameter, different size. I guess it needs more gas to run high heat. So I did swap out the house stuff. Made it all work. Still cooked dinner. Ran the kids to bed a little late because the building delays. And shout out to the chap who was helping me load the truck because he twisted his knee. He actually got really hurt helping me load the truck. Apparently, this is a freaking heavy barbecue, so he got a little injured. Motorcycle Experience says, love to barbecue steaks with potatoes and onions. And onions? I mean, I got, so at Costco, I got the, I guess they're deep fried onions. You'd sprinkle them on salad, sprinkle them on everything. I sprinkle them on everything. No carbs. Sprinkle them on anything. Sonia Bizarro says, hi, Sean. How's you doing? I'm doing well. Thanks very much. Thanks for asking. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. First comment in the TikTok stream. Speaking of which, if you're on TikTok, please like and subscribe. If you don't already subscribe, follow, or otherwise interact and engage, just tap the screen so your fingers go numb. If you want to share it with friends, that would be magical too. I have not been on Twitch in a very long time, so I wonder if we'll actually see some Twitchers come in directly. Is that what, did Big Jeff Fresh come in through Twitch? Did you actually Twitch before you said the same thing on both? I don't know if it's the YouTube or if it was him. I think you used to come into the Twitch a lot. Anyway, very cool. Chad says it's not even dark yet. I guess it's dark somewhere, but it is. The sun was just going down. Sonia has a traffic question. Go for it. Oh yeah. Oh, very cool. So Twitch is linking properly. I didn't even notice that. Twitch has a direct link that actually functions, so I can close this window. I don't need so many windows open. That's so good to know. Twitch is awesome, and LinkedIn works most of the time. Things used to be so much smoother. Well, I'm glad that we got you back here through Twitch, Big Jeff Fresh. See, he says, yes, he's in Twitch and has a little icon business. See, it's so nice. It says Twitch with a little Twitch. Anyway. So Sonia Bizarro has a traffic question, and I'm looking forward to reading it. But in the meantime, Mike R725 says, how can I make a complaint against another driver? Well, depending on what it was, if it was, what was it? They were just being dinks, or were they actually, extremely dangerous and deserve to have a police report? Because there's a difference. Someone pisses you off. I understand wanting to report them, but chances are nothing will happen. If they did something illegal, put lives at risk, then absolutely you should make a report. And more often than not, it's an online report that goes through the local police service, whether it be OPP. I think they take online with OPP. York Regional Police, Toronto Police absolutely do. And you put in a description of what you saw, what you experienced. Sadly, it rarely leads to charges because there's rarely enough information in the report to actually say, well, what is this dot? I'm like, what did I get on my stuff? I see it in the camera. I'm like, what is the fluff? I was cleaning out the lint trap. What's the exhaust? The dryer exhaust. I was covered in stuff earlier. Anyway, yeah, make a report there. If you have video, nice. Video might actually get you to the point of laying charges. But at very least, they send letters out to the registered owner saying, at this date and time and location, someone was being a dink behind the wheel of your car. What are you going to do about it? If they can lay a charge, they will. Jay Furious says, I was just wondering, just curious if Teslas come with turn signals, or is it a very expensive option? Are the Teslas not signaling? Because I imagine they signal automatically when they do their own thing in autonomous, and it's all the driver douchebaggery when they don't. So, yeah. Evandro Toronto joined. Hey, Evandro, how you doing? Good to see you, brother. Evandro is going through the process to become a police officer. When is your graduation, Evandro? I need to know. John says, a neighbor and I were talking. Is it technically legal to drink non-alcoholic beer while driving? And if it's non-alcoholic beer, it's a brewed beverage, but it's not alcoholic, and it's specifically alcohol, alcohol, or alcoholic beverages, those that are restricted. That is a problem. So I think you'd get pulled over a lot for drinking something that resembled a beer, until such time as the officer realized it was a non-alcoholic. Anyone remember Sarasota? I used to love Sarasota. I felt like such a big 10-year-old or whatever, however old I was, drinking Sarasota because it had 0.05 alcohol in it. So cool I was. But Sarasota, my goodness. Oh, and Mike Mann, who's in the Galapagos Islands, just sent me pictures. He sees crabs, he sees birds. Oh, this is so cute. Seals. He's a big old spider. Oh, if you could see the pictures I can see, I can't show you them. He just texted me to get to our ham radio chat. If you're at all curious about amateur radio, know that you probably know more about it than me. But I'm taking a course because I want to get my amateur radio certificate and join it and partake in talking to people on the amateur radio. Have you heard of it? Do you know what the amateur radio is? It's a very cool thing, I think, that is far more technical than I am. And I'm a technical person. Tracy says Sarasota was gross. I don't think Sarasota was gross. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember what it tastes like, mind you. It may be garbage, and I just thought it was much better. When I was a kid, I think it was good. Maybe we were drinking it warm. Everything's better cold. Big Jeff Fresh says turn signal subscription package for the for the Teslas. That would be that would explain a lot. What is it with cars that have subscription pack? Like how disgusting. I think it's disgusting. They build the car, they put all the technology in, but they won't let you use the technology unless you pay for it. But it's cheaper for them to put it in than not put it in. But gosh darn it, if you want your seats to warm up, you're going to pay monthly. That's so gross. I totally get it if you have to like install a piece of hardware to make it work. But when you don't have to do that, you just want to charge extra. That is when I think hacking is legitimately like good. Like you should hack the shit out of that, and you should be able to have access to your heated tushy warmer. I just don't buy into the it's gross. It's gross. What kind of it's gross. Okay. Sunnyside Linland says when stopped, but I don't see the prior statement to when stopped. So Sunnyside, you gotta give me more than that because we don't see the rest of it. Now it may have been flagged by TikTok's automagical censorship thing that it does to protect the folks on the platform, which they're really good at. I got to tell you, TikTok is amazing for keeping a safe place. Little concerned about what happens if the platform goes away because the other platforms not so good. The amount of hate I get on other platforms, amazing. TikTok, awesomeness, really. It fine-tuned to protect creators and viewers alike. Bruv says, I actually made one regarding the liberals. It's hilarious. Where can I send it to you all? You can get me at voiceovercop@gmail.com. That's an easy one to get me at. But I don't know what we said. Was it a song that you made? Because again, I only see the question or the statement that I read. One Flame says, why causes the most delays on the 410? There's no accidents, but it's always slow. What causes delays? I don't know. It could be bottlenecking at the exits. It could be people driving poorly and creating slowdowns and like the best is a smooth, consistent speed. Those people who accelerate and decelerate and zigzag weave. I got some great footage recently. I snagged off my dash cam that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you. I've just been so busy with so many different projects that my daily content creation has really waned, and I have to bring it back because those are the videos that get the millions of views and whatnot. I need to start doing that again. Parker wants to know if I'm related to Ben. So you have to know that Shapiro is a name that is very common. I didn't know it was common. I was the only Shapiro I knew until I met Ben or heard of Ben. But apparently there's a gazillion Shapiros around, and they're all from the same. The origin of the name is a town or city in Germany. So maybe we have roots to Spira, which I think is Spyra. Spira. I don't know. I've never been there, but apparently that's the root of it. So Tracy says hi before she dissed the whole Sarasota thing. So I don't know. I see Brandon is here, and he says, "Good evening, Sean and all. I'm back home for a few weeks until the Indy 500. Hope you all had a fantastic day. I had a great day. I bought a barbecue, and I wanted to share that with you because you're my chef. Like he's the chef. I don't know any other chefs. He's the only chef I know, and I've never chefed with him. We've never cooked. I've never eaten anything he's made, but he's the chef, and I trust his judgment because he says he has some. Actually, I asked him about barbecues before I bought, and he said Weber good, and I bought a Weber today, primarily based on Brandon's advice. And I think you need to make a website where you just give advice on what barbecue to buy. I think it would be good advice. Or it could be wrong, but I think he's right. All right. Let's see what's going on over here. Excellent. Okay, I got a question coming in. Hi, Sean. Quick question regarding left turn. Some of the people take turns and come directly into right lane and multi-lane road. Isn't that dangerous? So yeah, if you make a left turn, you're required to go into the left lane. If you go wide into the right lane, the curb lane, that is an improper turn, and it comes with a wonderful $110 fine. I can read the HTA on that if you're interested. Let's see. Now I'm interested in the actual word, the new word. Oh, I got to download an updated database. It could take 1 to 2 minutes to finish. I'm not sponsored by Shield Basic Ontario, but I got to tell you, Shield Basic is a lifesaver. If you're a police officer or you know police officers and you aren't running Shield Basic on your phone, you're missing out. Just saying. Improper. Improper left turn. Here we go. Section 141 sub 6, improper left turn, $85 plus a victim fine surcharge, bringing that to $110 total payable to demerit points, where a driver or operator of a vehicle intends to turn left into an intersecting highway. He or she shall, where the highway on which he or she is driving has marked lanes for traffic, approach the intersection within the left hand provided for the use of traffic moving in that direction. Have you ever noticed that these laws sound like crap? I don't know who wrote this stuff, but they deserve to be slapped about the face before they correct the wording to be simpler. But anyway, within the left lane provided for the use of traffic moving in that direction in which his or her vehicle is proceeding, or where it has no such marked lanes, by keeping immediately to the right of the center line of the highway, and he or she shall make the left turn by entering the intersection to the right of the center line or its extension, and by leaving the intersection in the left-hand lane provided for the use of traffic moving in the direction in which his or her vehicle is proceeding, where the lane is marked, or where no such lane is marked, by passing immediately to the right of center line in the intersecting highway. That's a load of crap. That is the worst. That's the worst thing I've read today, possibly this week. They can do better. Why would they use so many words to say so little? Here's the deal. Here's a simplified version from Sean. If you're turning left, stay in the left lane when you get to where you're going at the end of the turn. If you go wide, you're improper. You're putting risk or putting lives at risk, and don't do that because I'm going to slap you with a ticket. That's all you got to say. Or you're going to get slapped with a ticket because Sean can't give tickets anymore, but he would if he could. I'd much rather that be what actually read that. That's such a crappy. Anyway, I'll lose my mind later about that. I'd read your name, but I don't know that alphabet. So is that helpful? I hope it's helpful. Same thing for the right turns, curb lane to curb lane. If you are making a left turn from a right turn from the lane one over, you end up in the same situation on the other side. You don't both go into the curb, you go to the one over when you get there. It's really logical. And yet people screw it up every day. Biggest 50-year-old, I don't know what the rest of the names got cut off. They want to know about missing kids, and I'm not familiar with that case. I've not been following it, so I apologize. I'll have to read up about it. We'll have to talk about it on another day. But anytime there's missing children, that's a problem, but it does fit perfectly into the use of the Amber Alert, which I haven't received one, so must not be local to where I am at. Julie Mango. Great name. And I think I recently bought a mango, which is triggering me to anyway. Julie Mango says, can you tell us the laws around jaywalking? Well, if you're in Ontario, Canada, there are no jaywalking laws. You need to cross within a signalized intersections crosswalk if it exists. But if you are mid-block, you do not need to do so. And you can cross, as long as you're not interfering with traffic, you can cross lawfully. Yeah. EO says, what happens if I get pulled over and I don't have my driver's license on me? Well, you're probably getting a ticket for failed to surrender driver's license upon demand. And that's $110. 85, 110, yeah. 110 with victim fine surcharge. Hey, everybody. Just looking over at the Instagram. By the way, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. I also talk about barbecues, movies, and other sorts of crap that is unrelated, but I try and keep my focus onto traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And cars, getting more into cars. And I mean, from I want to buy a new car perspective. So I talk about what I want to talk about, and I talk about what you want to talk about. It's kind of a place where we can just hang out and talk about stuff. I'm just a regular person who happened to work as a police officer until August of last year, and then I stopped. But I still want to be here to help you, even though I'm no longer a full-time police officer. I'm not even a part-time police officer. I'm just not a police officer anymore. Okay. Oh. I was on the radio today. I was on Deb Hutton's News Talk 1010 show. They called. They asked me questions about e-scooters, and I talked about them. I saw e-scooters, so we'll talk about that again in a second. Sonia Bizarro, 1 out of 2, says, I was on a side street, no stop sign for me, and cross street had a stop, but an electric scooter. See, I told you I saw a scooter. The scooter kept going. I could have hit them. Our electric scooter is supposed to follow stop signs too. Well, first of all, if you're talking about an electric scooter being a stand-up two-wheel skateboard deck kind of thingy-mabobber, that is prohibited in the city of Toronto. So if you're in Toronto and you saw that, they were totally illegal. Could not be there, could not operate legally. No, not allowed. If they were in Mississauga, York Region, other places where the pilot project is in effect because the municipality adopted it, they chose to be part of it, well, then running a red light is still an offense. And even regardless of whether it's prohibited or not, failing to stop for that red light or a stop sign, you were at a stop sign, they fall under the Highway Traffic Act. More so if they go over 24 kilometers an hour, which is the legal limit, even in addition to the fact that it has to be in the jurisdiction that's adopted it. So if it's in York Region, Mississauga, those are my examples of lawful places to operate them. 24 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed on a flat surface. If it does more, it carries cargo, more than one person, it is prohibited, period. Now, what happens if you get caught on them? Well, you're going to get a prohibited, like in Toronto, $110 ticket for a prohibited vehicle. If it's going more than 24 kilometers an hour, that's a motor vehicle expected to get no license, no insurance, no safety, unsafe motor vehicle, like the whole kit and caboodle. There are units available that do 100 kilometers an hour. Like there's just, those are motorcycles, motor vehicles. Put a seat on it, motorcycle. Can't put a seat on it. They have to be stand-up only. And that's regardless of whether or not it's a pilot project adopted in your area. So, yeah, if they fall into categories where they're legal, they're treated as bicycles. Same laws apply to bicycles. They have to stop for red lights, even though most cyclists don't know anything about law and how to follow it. I'm being an ass because, yes, I know most cyclists know the law. They just don't give a crap about it and still run the red lights and stop signs. Trav says, I remember seeing you at the auto show and you're taller than I expected. I get that a lot. I'm 6'5", and as such, most people go, you're a lot bigger than I thought you'd be. Yes. In fact, I just watched the season finale of House of David, which was phenomenal. It really was so good. Brandon just said he's up to making food, and he's a chef, so it makes sense that he likes making food. Because if you hated making food, that'd be a really bad job for you, a bad career path. But he's constantly telling me where he's cooking and where he's cooking it at, and who he's cooking it for, and it's just teasing because we like food here. I didn't get this way by accident. It's the only time I can use accident, the word, because you can't use accident when discussing collisions, because they're collisions. Somebody's responsible for them. Accident makes it sound like nobody's responsible. The accident fairy did it. All right, let's see what's going on. DJB says, that's my fave mango. That mango is your favorite mango? Julie mango is your favorite mango, or mango is your favorite? I'm so confused. Do you know each other? Let's see. Bush Outdoors Canada says, solid, great information. And so is Bush Outdoors Canada when it comes to talking watches and TTC stuff, but mostly watches. He's a guy who sells marathon watches, and marathon watches are awesome. Pashka says, scooters, the scourge of the roads in Ottawa. And in Ottawa, you actually have rental systems. Like they're really, really in there. In Toronto, well, they're not allowed, but they're everywhere anyway. Okay, I totally forgot to go back. Motorcycle Experience had a question at the very beginning of the show, 9:05. And what are we at? 9:30. And you've been waiting for 25 minutes if you haven't left angry. And let's talk about your question. If a driver has several speeding tickets or any other tickets like the red light and are before the courts, do the officers see those tickets? So if the speeding tickets were issued by police officers, then yes, police officers can see it. And if you have 10 pending charges, it would suggest to us that you might have a problem. You might need some corrective action, like a ticket to go with your tickets to make it a complete set. Not only would we use that, we would also say, at the time of your stop, we saw that you had 5, charges for the same offense, and this might be something that should get higher penalties when it gets to court, regardless of the outcome of the previous events, because they can all be pending, but it's unlikely that they're all, oopsie doo errors, not you. Like, suggests there's a problem with you driving. And then Motorcycle Experience went on to say, if I have tickets that are dismissed or have been paid off in the past, how far back does the officer see in the computer when he or she pulls me over? So technically, we see everything from the day you got your first interaction. Now, that could be before you were even licensed. If you were 10 years old, stole a car, drove it, got charged for the driving, that would be in your full record. Insurance companies only see 3 years back. We see the entirety of your driving career. Would we use it against you? That is the question. And we might. It's part of your history. If you're driving the same way you've driven before, whether it's 10 years ago, it's information that's useful to police in determining, whether or not you should be on the road and whether or not you deserve a break. Okay, scrolling down a little bit here. Epic Life Enthusiast. Question. My son loves his grandparents' car, which is a 1963 Dodge Polara, and was able to drive it to buy gas. He was pulled over by TPS and given a ticket for altering a license plate. Okay. From a distance of 3 meters or more, the license plate looks fine. We all did not notice anything. And I am my parent did not even notice anything different on the plate. But when looking closer, noticed the plate was altered. There was tape on the letters in the plate. What's your advice on how to handle a ticket? And then add on to the previous question. For the previous question, I would like to know why TPS charged my son for altering the license plate when the vehicle is registered to a different owner. And then further says, why did the ticket not go to the owner of the vehicle? Okay, so that ticket is laid against the driver. The driver's responsible. You do a circle check. You ensure that everything is correct. If you don't know where the ownership is as the driver, you get charged. If, there's things like when you talk about owner responsibility charges, the only ones we really have are the red light camera tickets, the automated speed enforcement camera tickets, the school bus tickets, which are probably very rare because there's very few jurisdictions currently utilizing that technology. TTC door passing tickets, because there's now technology being rolled out to deal with that. Those are owner responsibility charges, and they differ from the actual charge that a police officer would lay in the same circumstance. Now, if you're talking about owner responsibility, there's one for drive motor vehicle, no insurance. And that one's an owner responsibility in that if you're not the registered owner, we'll charge the registered owner. So let's say you borrow mom's car, there's no insurance. You believe there's insurance. She lends you the car when there's no insurance. There's something that says there's a charge called permit motor vehicle to be driven on the road without insurance. Permit motor vehicle. Yeah, no, operate no insurance. That's where I charge the owner, even if they're not there. If the owner's driving, then they get drive motor vehicle. So that's one where you kind of get away with as a driver not being charged. However, if mom said don't drive the car, there's no insurance, and you took it anyway, that's not permit. That's take vehicle without consent, and there's criminal charges to go with it. And that's one where I wouldn't charge the registered owner for permitting it because they didn't permit it. But it is getting complicated at that point. Okay. I hope that answers that question, because it was a long and involved question. But at the end of the day, yeah, if it was modified by some, I mean, talking about the tape, if at a glance you didn't notice and the owner didn't notice, nobody noticed, but upon closer inspection, like what? So who did it? Was it a prank? Someone did it to you? I mean, you could say that in court and they may believe you. They might believe you. Or they might think that there's something untoward being done. Like if everything else is valid, but you parked it and someone played a game on you, did they make it say something rude? Like, why would someone do it? It's not something that I think is plausible or easy to believe. It may be true, but I don't think it's easy to believe. So you can always try that as a defense. Test your luck. Okay. Kevin Samantha says, I should drive a new Corvette or buy a new Corvette. And let me read. Sean, you should buy a new Corvette. That's what he wrote. And I don't think I'd fit into the new Corvette. I've driven Corvettes, and I've driven many Corvettes, ones that I actually fit into, because it used to be a big man sports car. And when they sort of went into the first series, I don't know what they're called, but the ones that started looking like Ferraris before the current Stingray, that was pushing it at 6.5, at 6.5 feet tall. That was pushing it. When it got to the new current one, like Kerry Schmidt and I, Kerry's my height, and with the boots on, I think he may even have an inch on me. Both of us were looking out over the top of the windshield. It was ridiculous. So yeah, no, and it's too damn small. I want trucks. I want comfort. I got into a electric a what's it called, an E. They're electric. They're fully electric Cadillac Escalade. And I pressed the button. And it had a back rub button. There's some vibrating heating seats. I like luxury. Give me some luxury. I don't want that. I don't want that truck. It was a pretty cool truck. I'm not going to get into it. There was some issues, some trim, some things that I did not like. DJ Mills, DJ Mills says, "Hey," and then DJ Mills says, "Can I ride a Vespa on the highway?" Used to be that 50 cc's was the required displacement to be on the highway. I would not take a Vespa unless it was a 200 cc Vespa on the highway. What kind of Vespa you got? What kind of wheels you rolling? Yeah, if you had an itty bitty, I wouldn't go on the highway, because that would be looking for trouble. Trouble. If you do not leave. What's the line from RoboCop? Leave now, or there will be trouble. Okay. A joke from Motorcycle Experience. We got that flag for later. A quote from Epic Life Enthusiast. Gotcha. Epic Life Enthusiast says, "Hello, Sean. Love the show. Keep up the awesome job. Learning a lot." I'm so glad to hear it. I'm glad that you enjoy it and that you're learning, because that's the goal. If you enjoy it and you're learning something, that is I was going to say trifecta. It's only two. What's the terminology for two? I don't even know. Okay. Brandon says, "If you're looking for a new vehicle, what about the Ford Explorer?" So, a funny story. I went and looked at a Ford Explorer in 2017 or 2018, and I got into it and was looking at it going, it's a little tight. I mean, I drove them at work. They're an okay vehicle, but I find them to be a little small, a little bit. They're not horrible. I can make it work, but I really wanted the third row. And as I'm talking to my buddy Raul at the time, who was the guy selling the car, I said, I wish I could have the bigger one. And he says, like what? I said, like the Expedition. He says, like that one? And he pointed to one, and I said, yeah, like that one, but I can't afford one. And then I drove home in an Expedition. So I guess I could afford one. I couldn't afford a new one. I got one that was just off lease and low mileage. It was beautiful, still is. I'm going to drive this thing until the wheels fall off, but they won't fall off because I maintain my vehicles. Because if not, I'd be responsible for them not being safe on the road. So it was really just an expression, a useless statement of I was trying to be tough. Okay, moving along. Matthew Hamilton 72 says, "What happens if you get pulled over without a safety on your vehicle, but you do have insurance? Is your vehicle? What's the scenario? You just bought the car and it hasn't been safety, but it was fit when you bought it, and you're like, tell me more." Because there is a very short window of opportunity you have if you're putting plates on that were previously attached to another vehicle and are lawfully listed as unattached, that you have 6 days to drive it so you can get it safety. Um, but if it's in unsafe status, that is not lawful, and driving an unsafe motor vehicle is a serious charge. So tell me more. Did you go over to your optometrist and tell him that joke? Which one was it? I've already forgotten what joke it was. Did I say it? Did I share a joke? Oh my goodness. Which is the optometrist? I don't know which one we're talking about. Apparently today, I'm a goldfish. By the way, my name is Sean Shapiro. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. So if you want to know stuff before you do stuff so you don't get charged with stuff, this is a good place for you to be. Not only should you follow the channel, but you should share the channel. And you should send lots of likes by tapping the screen a whole lot, like till your fingers go numb. Also, if you want to watch archives of the show, I have probably 700 hours of video on just live streams. Like I've done this for 5+ years. Back when I was a police officer, all those are all archived. You can get a voiceover cop on YouTube. You can also get the podcast, which although only has one episode so far this year, we're working on a whole bunch more. And you can get that at YouTube and your favorite podcast platform. It's called Traffic Jam. Just saying. Checking on the Instagram. Right. Okay, let's go back. What do we got here? Oh, lots of new stuff coming in. Just want to have a quick look here. Comment about the license plate issue that Epic Life was dealing with. Tape on the license plate seems like someone's trying to dodge the 407 charges, but I don't think that's the case when you have a classic car. I don't think that like, but no one's gonna like if it was done. I could see someone just trying to be a dink. That's not dual income, no kids. That's like an actual dink. Okay. But yes, and there's now tape that people are buying that obscures the plates and causes it to reflect and mess with lenses so they can't be caught. It's just a bad idea. Okay, we got here. Epic Life Enthusiast. Question for those and me who want to join TPS. Is there someone we can contact at the Toronto Police College to do a pre-fitness test to see if we would pass or not? I would talk to a recruiter. They do have sessions that they regularly run. There is also a gym, and they're here on Instagram. And I'm going to mess up their name. Email me at voiceovercop@gmail, and I will send you a link to the call. I think it's the Coliseum, and they're linked to a security company and but they do this training thing, trying to get people ready for the test. Yes. But TPS might have something a night that's available too. They want people to pass. They want to help you pass. Okay. Motorcycle Experience says, question, I have bought a new vehicle and want to get the insurance. Is there a TPS website that show current and up-to-date crimes like car thefts? You want stats? You want to get insurance? How does that relate to the current up-to-date crime stats? You want to know if your vehicle is high on the list? They might have that published, but I don't know where you'd find it. Media used to ask that all the time. I don't think we ever had that tracked like that. I see. You want to be able to discuss it with insurance and get a cheaper rate. See, they do that research. They have actuaries who do it, and I don't think they want to help you. Just saying. All right. Canadian Ape, how you doing, brother? He says, good evening, Sean. Good evening to you. And Tim says, what kind of or what type of officer were you? Police officer. What do you mean type of officer? I was a police constable, first class. I was a traffic specialist. So once you become a police officer, you can be a divisional officer your whole life, or you can get involved with different specialties. Mine was traffic. I was a collision investigator. I was a motor officer. I was many things. I was a media relations officer. And the type of officer? One who cared about his job and loved it a whole lot. So I was an enthusiastic officer. Okay. Arcane says, I have no insurance tickets. It's been year they giving next date. I heard, I don't get what you're saying, Arcane. I have no insurance. I have no insurance tickets. Oh, you have tickets for no insurance. Gotcha. That took me a couple times. Punctuation matters. You have tickets for no insurance. It's been a year. They giving next date. I heard after a year they dismiss. No, after a year you can apply for something called an 11B application, which suggests you've not received a speedy trial, which you have a right to. It's usually 12 months. They may have extended that, or it's a serious charge. Is there a reason it's been dragging on? Maybe they kept on going and you didn't know about it, and they've actually convicted you in your absence, had an ex parte trial or something. Like, I'd be calling. Do you have a lawyer? Insurance? No insurance or a representation? Because no insurance is a serious charge. That's not just a ticket. That's something that could have you going to jail. No insurance is $5,000 to $25,000 and up to 6 months in jail on your first conviction. So, ain't no joke. Okay. Nicholas Rizzi, I was waiting till you to show up. Nicholas wants to know when I realized I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to be a police officer for as long as I can remember. Before I turned 10, I knew I wanted to be a cop. And I have photos of me wearing a helmet with a red flashing light on it when I was like 8 years old. That maybe I'll share with the world on Instagram at one point. Excuse me. Big meal, early morning, late night live stream. Apparently the combination is that of yawning at you. It's not your fault. Maybe it's your fault. No, it's not your fault. Two Scoops joined. How you doing, Two Scoops? Is it my Two Scoops or somebody else's Two Scoops? Is that Two Scoops the Two Scoops? Two Scoops is somebody I used to work with. I don't know if that Two Scoops is the Two Scoops I'm talking about, but we'll just keep saying Two Scoops. All right. I'm not saying Two Scoops anymore. I'm moving on. Two Scoops is old news now. Canadian Ape asks, during a traffic stop, do you have to give your license to the officer or hold it so that he can see it? The way the wording is to surrender your driver's license for reasonable inspection. So no, it's not just this. If I want to see it, I need to be able to hold it, see it, make sure it's real, take it back to my car, scan it through my barcode reader. It's not just enough to go, there you go. And there's a number of reasons why. There's security technology built into the devices, RFID. There's actually, I think, 2 forms of antenna that are built into the card. They're constantly being manipulated. People are putting stickers on top to change things. Sometimes we want to put a UV light to it. Like, you have to surrender it for reasonable inspection. Yeah. And you're supposed to get it back at the end. Great question. I really appreciate it. Josh wants to know if he goes 1 kilometer over. Wait, let's try this again. Josh says, if I go 1 kilometer above, would I get a ticket for the automated speed cams? No. I've never heard of a 1 kilometer an hour speed threshold. Usually it's 10% of the posted speed limit, which is not 1 kilometer. But you should not speed even 1 kilometer because it's not lawful. It's against the law. And people get so bent out of shape. Those speed limits are too low. No, they're not. They're just the speed limit. Follow it or don't drive there. That's my take on it. That's because I'm super sensitive. Kevin sent a heart wearing a crown of some kind. Thank you very much, Kevin. I really should have made coffee because I like to say that this show is fueled by coffee. And then I found out about 2 apps. One called it's an app. It's a website, Ko-fi and Buy Me a Coffee. And I registered for both of them with the intention of one day telling people that I have apps there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, you can go there. It's at VoiceOver Cup. But I never really said anything about it. So I've never advertised it until right now. And really, you can't buy me a coffee to make it appear. If you could actually have a coffee appear here, that'd be so cool. Even if it was Earl Grey from the, what was it called? Oh my goodness, I really do that. Wow, I really need that coffee. Okay. What is it? It's Earl Grey Hot. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise. But what does he say? And what does it say back? Or does it just make the sound and that just appears? I want one of those things. Make me a steak, medium rare. Okay. SB Visual says, lagging for anyone else? Question mark. Is it lagging for anyone else? I'd like to know. I've not heard anyone else talk about lagging, but it's entirely possible. Things happen. This is a higher use social internet thing, and I'm on a cable modem, so it's possible. Melody says, oh. So I love you says yes -2. Melody says yes, but SB Visual says it's not lagging now. Thank you for the update. Kevin Samantha says, get the convertible. Well, I was in that Target top thing, and it was still looking over the windshield, not cool. It's just too small. I want to be comfortable. My hubby doesn't fit either. That's a tin can now. Yeah, the Corvettes are disappointing now. They're technological marvels, but they don't fit me, and thus I don't like them. I love Porsches. I don't fit in those either. And I don't want the ones that I do fit into because they ain't cool. No. My business partner has an electric one. I haven't even sat in it. I have no desire to be in something that small. Yuck. Yuck. It's a Porsche. It's supposed to be beautiful, but it's beautiful for short people. I'm not calling my business partner short. He just might not be as tall as I am. Just saying. All right. If someone send their cell phone, what? If someone send their cell phone fell off their holder into their hand, you still giving the ticket? Or if someone said their cell phone fell out of the holder into their hand, you still giving the. Here's how this works. It's not a momentary thing. I don't just see someone or didn't just see someone who had, this happened. I usually watch them, for a period of time, whether it be at a red light or driving beside them, and they're just la-di-da, entering and swiping and la-di-da, typing away. And the cars in front of them have driven away, and I'm staring at them in the window. I've got 30 seconds, 8 to 30 seconds of them doing stupid crap. And then I pull them over. And then they tell me, oh, it just fell. I don't know how it even happened. And then I give them a ticket. And then I make all those great notes of observation in my notes, and then they fry on stand. Yeah, no, that scenario that you described never happens. I mean, it would, if it happened, you wouldn't get a ticket for it because the officer would see it falling off the thing into your head. No, I think it's a if you use that excuse in court, I would be shocked if you actually won. Just saying. The Lyric, is that the Lyric? No, the Lyric is the itty bitty one, isn't it? This is the big Escalade electric $210,000 car. I think it's 210. That's what I was talking about earlier. Oh, Brandon's calling it a night. We have to get lunch soon to all have a good night. That's from Brandon. He's outie. Let's see here. Epic Life Enthusiast says, while he is Epic Life Enthusiast, I am Sean the Police Enthusiast, living life to the fullest. I like that. I'm certainly a former member, lifetime fan. Absolutely. I can't. I appreciate those that serve others, and I'm still serving. I just not wearing a uniform no more. I'm wearing whatever I want to now. I went to pick up my auction haul. Is that what it is? At my auction haul today, I went to King of the North, and I left my lid at home. And the young lady behind the counter said, "This is the first time I've ever seen you without your hat." I think she was accurate. Just saying, I got some good stuff. And this is going to sound weird, but I got an auger, a drain auger, a clogger. No, it's a clog. It's for unclogging pipes. And the first thing I did when I got home was like, honey, take my hat. I got to go unclog all drain. This drain's been plaguing me. I have put a liter or more of unclogger stuffer liquid down there, and it's done nothing to make it go better. But 2 seconds with this unclogger auger thing, boom, it's done. It's flow, drain, loving it. Just saying. And it's a power one. It's not one of those cranky cranks. No, this one's like electric. $55. I mean, my sister-in-law, who would hate the fact that I'm talking about her, she paid like $250 for a plumber to show up and press go on his auger to unclog the drain. Yeah, just saying. I bought the machine to unclog as much as I want for $55. Auctions are awesome. I'm tempted to make a channel and just discuss the things I've purchased at auction. Discuss the price I paid for them and how much I love them and how much I didn't have to pay retail. You could do that. King of the North. You don't buy anything that I want because that's competition. Melody says Cadillac Escalade IQ. That sounds correct. Cool looking wheels. Don't want them. I don't have 200 grand either. Clapped 6.6 Duramax says, is a modified exhaust. Sorry, I get a modified exhaust. I get a modified exhaust is illegal regardless, but if you're not stomping the gas whenever you can, what's the likelihood of getting pulled over? And Melody says, exhaust can be modified and still be legal, to which Clapped 6.6 Duramax says, mine's a 5-inch straight pipe. Yeah, I guess yours is not legal. It all depends on the officer. It depends on the situation. Most of the time, modifications go unnoticed unless your driving behavior draws attention. But why would you want a 5-inch straight pipe if you weren't trying to make noise? So when are you doing that? Like, yeah. And if it's are you saying it's 5-inch diameter, or it's not 5 inches long? Because that's a very itty bitty one. In any case, straight pipe, not legal. You get a $110 ticket for the lack of exhaust or muffler, improper exhaust, for unnecessary noise. Under the right circumstances, you'll get a lot of tickets. Under the average, you probably will go unnoticed if you're not, being a dink. Dink is the word of the day. I don't think I've ever used it, but today I've used it 7 times at least. A woof woof. There is no name. It is simply an emoji. Thus, I say the name is woof woof or dog, because we're going to extrapolate from what's provided to us on screen. And the question is, what volunteering experience would you recommend for someone interested in becoming an officer? So I think getting out there and making a real commitment to the community is the way to go. So if you are talking about going out and finding something you love to do that benefits the community, that's what you do. It isn't about checking off a list. Yes, volunteering is required, but if you're doing it just to say, I went and did it, check me off, it's transparent, and that doesn't help anyone. And if you are doing If you are doing something that you love doing, you will have developed a rapport with the people you're volunteering with and for, and when they are being interviewed, they will sing your praises. But if you're doing it just to get her done, to check a box, you may not be operating at your highest and best, and you may develop a what is what I'm looking for? A reputation for being someone who maybe doesn't do the best job. Find something that you actually want to do. Now, I volunteered for many years as an auxiliary police officer, which I think is fantastic. It's the best way to volunteer. But you also need to be actively involved in minimum hours, and you can totally volunteer in an entirely different field and still meet the requirements of volunteerism and bring something different to the party. So there's so many ways to volunteer. I think auxiliary is the best, but that's because I did that for many years. If you're looking for something that, like, I also volunteered at a suicide hotline. I used to, when people used to call up, I used to talk to them and listen to them. And sometimes bad things happen, and sometimes good things happen. But that is a difficult volunteer position, but it's an important one. So think about it. Maverick likes the expedition. I like it too. I want the new one. Mine is not a new one. Okay. Kevin says, I'm afraid to drive Fords. I don't have good luck with them. Interesting. Nova Scotia says, SP Visuals says, Nova Scotia requires safety to be renewed. Renewed? Like you have to go annually to renew your safety? I think they should do that everywhere. There are many, many unsafe vehicles on the road. Oh, Leon, it's going to happen. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Okay. I'm tired. Okay. Motorcycle Experience says, question. I have a PAL license and a permit to travel my rifle to the gun range. Does TPS and other police services able to see in the computer system that I have a PAL and registered gun? So your rifle is restricted or unrestricted? But yes, I mean there is a way to search firearms registration if you have a PAL and such. It is always best to, I think, to declare that you have something or where you're going. Although I don't believe in Canada there's an obligation to. I've never had an issue, and I'm a PAL our PAL person. Never had an issue and never had an issue with an RPAL or PAL holder, and never been an issue as an RPAL or PAL holder. Okay. Got a dad joke from Bernhard? Dolma Leaf Hockey. Oh, Dolma Leafs Hockey says, when's this catch and release stuff going to end? Oh, God. That's a good question. Not soon enough, if you ask me. And I mean, it's not just here. It's the United States. It's happening there too. Okay. Julie Mango wants to know. Oh, first off, says, thanks for answering my question earlier. I have another. Are the blue Ontario plates still valid? They are. Kleenex boxes, they're still valid, and they are. They're going to get rid of them, but it hasn't happened yet. So you'll be, I believe, forced to trade them in at some point in the future. Wow. Instagram failed. I'm curious now. Let's see here. We have the most viewers on, I think it's neck and neck. Hang on a second. What? That's very interesting. I just got to notice that my live is restricted to some audiences for some areas for some reason. I don't know why. I can't imagine. Someone must have reported something of baloney, but that's okay. We'll have TikTok look into it tomorrow morning. Not too worried. What I was looking up was that there's currently 31 people in the live stream on TikTok, but according to statistics, there's 35. Oh, TikTok still wins. 35 people watching on X. We're multicasting. We're on X, YouTube, Twitch. There's even someone over watching on the magic of Instagram. Okay. Do you know what? I got a video restricted. People in Russia can't watch it. Who cares? Like you bothered you wasted an email to tell me because of a music. This is AI generated music that's mine. I have the rights to it. But the fact that I played a clip and the clip included a 10-second song, and because of that, because of the license, Russia couldn't watch that video. What is it? Matthew Hutch says, did you get a new account? I swear I've seen you on here before. I used to be at Traffic Services. The Traffic Services account was the account I created for the Toronto Police Service and grew to about 760,000 followers. I looked yesterday, they have 666,000 followers. They've dropped dramatically. Sadly, they're not creating any content. And because of that, I didn't create a new account. I already had this account while I was a police officer. But when I retired, I continued creating content in the vacuum that was left over by the fact that nobody else was doing it. I really want people to have access to the information that I have. I want people to have answers to the questions that they have. And thus I started doing this again after leaving the police. Okay. Nicholas Rizzi says, I saw 2 OPP cars cut through a corner gas station so they could everyone else. You saw them turn left? Okay. It's not illegal. Thought it was nice, but it's not illegal. Epic Life for Enthusiast says, when TPS retires a police car, it would be a great idea for you to buy it as a civilian police car. For me, I didn't like driving them when I Crown Vics I liked. F-150s at work I liked. I don't think I'd want to drive a police car. We beat the crap out of those things. My advice to you is don't buy a former police car. Like, when you ever heard a line like drive it like you stole it? Drive it like it's a police car is similar. Someone else is going to fix it. It's someone else's problem. Okay, Epic Life Enthusiast says, I'm a pool and hot tub plumber and service tech with a plumber college. Would have done it for half the price. For the auger? Right on. But it was an apartment building, and apparently that's the apartment building plumber, the one that was contacted. We just didn't know who to call. It's not, and they wanted their stuff to stop backing up and pouring water. It was terrible. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Blitz has a thumbs up. Ethan says, I love driving. I really do. Me too. SB Visual says 3K minimum in Alberta. And because it's been so long, I don't know I don't know where the context was this. What was the $3,000 fine? Is that what we're talking about for not having a safety? Munkapoo? Munkapoo. I think it's Munkapoo 450. How often do cops appear in traffic court? Whenever they're summoned. When a police officer writes a ticket, they are required in court. You don't show up for court, you get documented for not showing up in court. You are obligated to go and support your end of the process. The only time you can not appear for court is if you're excused by a supervisor, if you're sick, if you're required for duty, or some other special situation. Generally, it's sick or required on duty. Or let's say it was scheduled while you're on vacation, which they should never do because courts have your schedule. So they shouldn't be doing it. But let's say they moved it. You're not available. It was a technical difficulty. And then that's not your fault. So I never missed court unless I was signed off or, on deathbed at home, sick as a dog. So I would go to court because I don't want people getting away with stuff. Ethan wants to know if I have a fast car. I have a truck that I try and drive no faster than the speed limit because I don't want to waste gas. Speaking of which, what's my score today? If you are interested, I can't put it on screen. Can I put it on? No, I don't have it in this profile. Go to trafficcop.ca. But not traffic. Yeah, it's on trafficcop.ca too. But I was going to say askatrafficcop.ca is the more updated webby site. And on that website, you can not only use to navigate and leave voicemail for me and stuff like that, but at the very top banner, it says you could win $100,000. That is what I'm talking about right now. It's the Great Canadian Driving Games, and you should be playing to show me that you're just an awesome driver. Where the heck? Here it is. So every time you take your car for a drive, here I'll show you. It will download. It'll track your driving. See, all these are all the drives I did today. Yeah, so 48-minute drive followed by 15-minute, 3-minute, 57-minute, 10-minute, 14-minute, 13-minute. I went all over the place. So I'll claim it. It takes it does processing on their servers, and then it'll send anonymous driving data to the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, and then it comes back and gives me feedback. So it says 84. I was going like 90, 91 as a score. So then it says my last drive was had a score of 84, and I've had 88 to 91 is sort of, you can't see that, 88 to 91. My eco score is 89, focus score 87, handling score, and I still have it on the cell phone holder that's not perfect. It kind of wiggles a bit, but my speed score is 100. My phone score is 100. My swerve score is 78. Maybe I swerved. I maybe saw a pothole. Anyway, lost points for that. Steadiness score 83. Cornering score 86. Braking score 86. Accelerating score, that's pretty consistent. You can do challenges, you can do trivia, and every time you complete a good challenge or week or whatnot, you get entries to the draw for or to win $100,000. And there's I think 250 smaller prize packs along the way, and you can qualify for those by just driving safely and participating in other stuff. Like they say, you get bonus entries if you follow the challenges. You can, if you get we can do this together. Play do I want to do? No, I'll leave my daily trivia for another time. Weekly mission. So you take 4 trips with a break score of 70 or higher. Well, I've already got that, so I checked it off. Collect 15 pins from Food Zone this week. So if you're driving where they serve food, I guess they want the information as to who's the most popular parking lot. And then if I check on this week's thing, it talks about steps to take before you drive. Walk around your vehicle, which would have told you if you had tape on your license plate for the chapter earlier. Lock your doors. Position your mirrors. Adjust your seat, steering wheel, and headrest. Wear your seatbelt. Practice these 5 steps before your next drive. Be mindful and and because I checked on that, now I had 13 out of 15. Once I get that, I got 100 XP and 1 entry to the Mission Possible contest. Listen, I could use the extra 100 grand. I could just use the 100 grand over my extra. But I find it really interesting to not only challenge myself, but to challenge and make fun of others. Because I'm kicking many people's butts. Am I kicking your butt? Do you have this installed? What's your score? Let me know. Do motorcycle cops go? Oh, sorry. Blitz wants to know if motorcycle cops tend to go for motorcycles. Motorcycle cops go for everybody. As a former motorcycle cop, I can tell you that I was just looking for violators. I wasn't waiting for motorcycles. Mind you, when I saw motorcycles, I was able to catch up to them in traffic when they weren't paying attention. And then, yeah, I caught a lot of motorcycles too. Lucas says, my local police station, Lambton, told me I can ride my Suron on the road with no license. Lambton's wrong. If you're in Ontario, I'm assuming Lambton is in Ontario. Your Suron is a motor vehicle. It's a motorcycle. You can't drive it anywhere. I mean, if they're not going to charge you for it, good for you, but that's illegal. That's a motorcycle. It's capable of going way, way faster than what is lawful for the road. It qualifies as a motorcycle. The only place you can lawfully use that is on your own private property, on a track that you've created. Technically speaking, an e-bike, which would require it to be a maximum of 32 kilometers an hour on a flat surface, would have functioning pedals. Your Suron usually doesn't have pedals. If it's the Super B, I think it is, it might have pedals, but it's not legal. It's got like an 80 plus K speed limit. They're amazing vehicles, don't get me wrong. They're just not lawful on the road. So maybe if you went back, Lucas, and said, Shapiro told me that it's totally illegal and here's why. And if they said, we don't care, get it in writing, because there's no way when you get smoked on it and they get investigated for like not enforcing it, that's going to go well. I don't know how old you are. If your parents knew that, like, if you're young enough that your parents still care whether or not you live or die, if something happens to you and you say, well, the police told me I could have it, that's going to be a lawsuit against the police service. So police officers should be very wary about giving advice when telling people to do illegal things. But the chances are they just don't realize. They probably think it's an e-bike, which it's not. Doesn't qualify. More than a 500 watt motor, guaranteed that thing has 1,000 watts or more. Maybe 2,000 or 3,000. How many does it have? Sean, let's find out. What size motor on what model Surround do you have? Okay, the Storm B. Peak power, 10,000 watts. 10,000 gigawatts, not gigawatts. Gigawatts. That was a 2003 model. Let's look at the 2025 BX. 8,000 watts. 31 miles per hour in 2.7 seconds. Does that sound like a bicycle to you? Yeah, no. 196.2 foot-pounds of torque. And it is light. It's 125 pounds, and they're legal at 120 kilos. But 8,000 watts, baby, that's not legal. What's the max speed? I see the 2.7 seconds, but what's the maximum speed? 1.3 seconds to get up to 18.6 miles per hour. So, what I say, 18.6? So that's almost it takes 1.3 seconds to get nearly to the legal speed limit for e-bikes in general. As soon as it is capable of going more than 30, capable. That doesn't mean you keep it to 32. But if it's capable of going faster than 32, it's illegal. It nearly gets to the speed limit. It's the maximum speed limit for those devices that it doesn't qualify as. Anyway, 31 miles per hour. So we're talking 31. It goes to 50K in 2.7 seconds. I've seen these things doing wheelies down the street. Where's the maximum speed? I mean, it's impressive that it can do 46.6 miles whilst traveling 24.9 miles per hour. But where is the maximum speed? It's funny how they are. But we know that there's we've seen them on the Don Valley Parkway. $6,500 plus freight and PDI. And I don't see pedals. As soon as there's no pedals that are capable of driving the vehicle forward, actually being ridden, 1 foot don't cut it. But yeah, they've taken it away. I don't see it. Anyway, not legal despite what Lambton says. If Lambton is in Ontario, Canada. Is TPS still as competitive as ever to get into? I think that all police services are starving for people, and if you apply, you have the best chances of getting in now. So you should do that if you want in. Spying Ryan laughs a lot, according to emojis. The Big Newfie says, exactly who cares? Oh, hang on. The Big Newfie says, only see 23 people on 35 now. Exactly who cares? Apparently everybody here but you. I used to have live streams that hit 40,000 people in a live stream, hundreds of people. Not here right now. But you know what? They've all learned stuff. They've come, they've had their questions answered, they've moved on. We've also had a terrible attack on TikTok from the Canadian government. They've really made this and vilified this place, and Canadians aren't here as much. I guess they're scared. China might know that they're learning about driving. Yeah, I'm actually very concerned about the future of social media based on things that the current government are talking about. What is this? Lucas says, as long as I'm under 32 kilometers an hour, he gave me a permission form that they can contact them to confirm. Capable. It has to be not capable of exceeding 32 kilometers an hour. It has to not have a motor larger than 500 watts. Not larger than 500 watts. And must have pedals capable of driving it. It's not legal, Lucas. Doesn't matter how they say it. It's not legal. And for a cop to give you advice to operate something that's not legal is wrong, because they're not aware of the law. That particular officer may not be a specialist. And it's sad, but it's not illegal. And that's like saying you have a Tesla. It can go real fast, but as long as you go under 32 kilometers an hour, we're not going to make you buy insurance. We're not going to make you have a driver's license. No, it's not based on how fast you drive it. It's based on what it's capable of doing. And I'm glad that they're not going to enforce it. Oh, I'm not glad. I think it's pathetic. But if they're telling you that and it's in writing, be careful. It may turn out that you get charged later by somebody else who doesn't agree. That officer may not enforce it, but it's not lawful, and they can't do that. Get into a crash? That's not going to fly. But the officer told me. And the insurance that doesn't pay you, and you've got no use of your legs anymore because you got into a collision on a vehicle that's not legal for the road because it's not insured, not licensed. You're not licensed. Like the level of screwed upness that you'd be in is amazing. Don't do that. Buy an e-bike that's lawful for the road if you're going to ride it. Buy a motorcycle if you want something that's a motorcycle. And you made a mistake by buying a Suron. Cool vehicle, private property only. Oh, Andy? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Did you already touch up on the new 2000 or newer rule? It's not real. It can't be real. If it's real, it's not going anywhere. Apparently, it's being debunked as being all AI. They're not getting rid of every classic car on the road. I mean, I get it. Green Deal bananas, but no tinted windows. That's another thing that apparently was said. Not real. I'd be shocked. It's not real. Cadillac Lyric is the car. So many problems. Really? 256 says, hey, how's it going, man? It's going good. Thank you so much. Let's see here. 256, you just made me think of something. I saw a motorcycle go by me today when I was coming back from Barrie. Liz 2. How's it going, Liz 2? And the Northern Cop is here. Aloha. I saw a motorcycle license plate, and the Northern Cop might get this, and maybe some of the others in the audience right now. 7 space M space 3. Do you know what that is? 7M3. Under a different phonetic alphabet. 7 Mary 3. In NATO alphabet, which we use, 7 Mike 3. 7 Mary 3 in some places south of the border. What do you think it refers to? I don't have a game show sound. Happy New Brunswick guy. Every 2 years here in New Brunswick. Right on. Many provinces and states have annual or biannual safety inspections. Melody, what do you think of that? Is that a good thing? Melody's a mechanic here in Ontario. I'd like to know what you think. You think we should do regular inspections? There's a lot of cars that shouldn't be on the road. Northern Cop says, is there a way to turn the app off? Is there a way to turn the app off? I've been offered those apps by my insurance company, but I keep declining because of work. Oh, yes. So after you drive, you have to go and actually select you claim the ride. So you can say you were a passenger and it doesn't affect your driving score within the game. And it is a game. But it doesn't report to anybody. I mean, even if you were driving cop like, which can be possibly interpreted as aggressive and dangerously, because we do a lot of stuff. We're chasing cars, we're driving quickly to calls. It's high risk. You don't want that on your score because it'll screw your score up. But I don't think it hurts you. It hurts the study. Yeah, but you can claim that as a passenger ride, and it won't affect your score. Northern Cop goes on to say, "I'm assuming that the app is through your insurance company. I came partway through. The app is not the insurance company. So this particular app I'm talking about is Safe Roads Challenge. It's a company that's working with the Traffic Injury Research Foundation. It's totally anonymous in terms of the use, but you do get entries for the opportunity to win $100,000. But the data goes to the turf, not to the insurance company, not to the police, not to anybody. Totally about studying driving in Ontario while encouraging you to drive safer. And I'm working on it. I want to be the best in Canada. Where do I rank in here? Hang on a second. Launching the app. Launching. Okay. That's not what I want to do. Home. Score. What tab do I have to go to? Type trip. Come on. Am I not seeing? For some reason, I'm not seeing. Oh, Safe Roads. No. I just got an email from them today, too, because I want to make a team for VoiceOver Cop. And I'm not seeing. They must have done an update, and I don't see Safe Roads Challenge. Or where the hell it is? So normally there's a tab for the Great Canadian Driving Game. I don't see it. I'm number one amongst my friends because I have no friends on the app. Anyone who's using the app, let me know and I'll add you. Nationally, this is based on experience points. It's not based on actual score. I've got 3,500 experience points, and I'm user 1,296 across the country. But based on the amount of driving I've been doing lately, I expect to grow, and I want to be like the top driver. Goldman 55 has 961,600 experience points. But I used to be able to see the Great Canadian Team. So I imagine accessing my teams. Oh, now when I hit teams, it took me to the Great Canadian. No, I didn't. Safe Roads Challenge. They've done something here, and I don't like it. I see my Safe Roads Challenge teams. So, and I can't interact with it. Ontario, I guess the average is 80, and Coastal Comets, which is the team I've been put into, is 82. This is not helping me at all. My dashboard, stats and scores, my trips, level up your skills, leaderboards, challenges. Can I see leaderboards? Team Ontario. So Trucker 1303 is 90s. How the heck does he get 96.77? Like, I am not. I'm number 36. 36. Thank you for making me go down this rabbit hole. I am thoroughly annoyed by the fact that I'm not number one. The Northern Cop got it right. 7 Mary 3. Chips, baby. 7 Mary 3 was the license plate. I'm now out of this particular rider as being near Barrie. But 7 Mary 3. Love it. Was it 7 Mary 3 and 4 responding? I gotta go watch Chips now. I have the entire series. Best show ever. The big Newfie says June bugs are out in May. Really? Oh, I guess June bugs in June. June bugs. I was thinking June bugs like the ones in Florida. Matthew Hutch says, hunting rifles. Let's see here. Kevin sent me, tagged me some videos on Instagram and TikTok. Cool, I'll check them out. Okay. Kevin says someone snitched you out. That's possible. People who don't like the police just report the channel for no reason, because they don't like the channel. Let's see here. Stephen Bell says, "How are you today, Sean? I'm doing well, and I was in London recently. I waved." Let's see here. Epic Life Enthusiast says, "I ride a Harley motorcycle and planning to do upgrades on the engine, which will increase the muffler's noise. Could I be given a ticket for noise at night and decimal ticket?" So unnecessary noise is a ticket you could have. If your muffler is intact and it functions properly, you might be okay. But if you're in the city of Toronto and you create more than 92 decibels at idle or more than 96 decibels at anything other than idle, you're eligible for a bylaw ticket of $500. Not a fun one. What do you do? What do you that Ontario license plate CFCE means? Hint. It's a reference to the Canadian military. What do you do? What do you that? Is it? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Well, CF sounds like Canadian Forces. What's CE though? I'm going to be at the battle school tomorrow. I'm going to battle school. Doing I've been speaking to the Canadian Armed Forces for many years, and I'll be doing a lecture for those fine folks at battle school. Daniel Preston says, "Forgetting my license so I don't ask again, but isn't suspicion of a crime needed for a stop?" Not in Ontario. Yeah, you can be pulled over to verify that you're licensed, to verify that you're sober, to verify that you're insured, to inspect the vehicle for safety. So yeah, there's no suspicion of a crime. It's just you're a licensed driver, and license is a condition of driving, and you have to surrender that and can say what you need to say to satisfy the officers in terms of that you're doing it all right whenever you are out there driving a car or truck or motorcycle. Is it legal to have clear taillights in Ontario as long as you have red bulbs and amber signals? That is a Melody question. I would say yes, because I've seen manufacturer vehicles that have that, but you cannot project white light back. But the problem is with the white taillights is the reflectors have to be red too. You have to have red light. And Melody, please correct me if I'm wrong. Matthew says, "Oh, you're retired now. Congrats." Absolutely, yeah. It's a more complicated story than that. I left quite early, but I retired from policing. Absolutely. Law enforcement vehicles of any type are absolutely beat. Yes, in terms of don't buy them later. You don't want it. Is there anything I do if someone door dings my car? You can fix it. You can call your insurance company to fix it, but it probably would ruin your rates, and you wouldn't want to do that. But when you say door ding, like open it up in a parking lot or drive into it. Oh, CF means Canadian Forces Combat Engineer. It's registered on my friend's motorcycle serving member. So does that mean that's his license plate and just references it, or is it an actual official issued plate? Interesting. Test drives at work would mess up my score. I had to do a watt test. Santa Claus is in the house. How's it going, Santa? Rosbari, is it Roaz Bari? Up late tonight. I am. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I try and do late nights at 9 p.m. for an hour to 2 hours. Apparently, we're on the downhill slide to 2 hours. Just seems to be where it goes. Melody says Ultra B can hit 55 miles per hour. Thanks for looking that up. It is not legal. It's a motorcycle, man. There's no way that vehicle and that a police. I gotta call that detachment Lambton. Maybe I send them my training video that I created for the Toronto Police. I think it's Lambton OPP, or maybe I'll contact. I know a bunch of people. OPP. I can quietly, discreetly tell them that they're completely wrong. What do we got here? Oh, here we go. Matthew Hutch wants to know is driving with the flow of traffic like 10 over allowed on the highways? Not legally. You're breaking the law with everybody else if you're driving with them. And that's sort of where the problem is. If you do 10 over and somebody else matches you and they say, well, he's doing it, so I can do it too. It's sort of like my kids not listening at school because one didn't listen, so the other one doesn't want to listen, and then nobody listens, and the whole world goes to crap. You need to follow the law. Everyone needs to follow the law. There's no exemption for going 10 over because everybody else is. You could all be eligible for a ticket. That's the thing. That's what it is. And even though you probably won't get a ticket for 10 over, you should be going 10 over. You should not be going 10 over, I should say. I set it and forget it. I go to the speed limit. I set my cruise control, and I just chill. Let's see here. Elizabeth says, I got a 3-day suspension for blowing a warning. Will it come up on my next driving abstract? Suspensions do come up. Suspensions are part of your driving history. But I don't think that, like for an abstract, if you go and ask for it yourself, I believe it shows up. Insurance companies, I don't think see those, but I don't know. So I'll have to ask the IBC folks. I have a magical contact at the Insurance Bureau of Canada who's going to come do a podcast episode with me, and I am marking your question. Warn range suspension. I'm going to make that a thing. In fact, if you would be so kind, Elizabeth, go to askatrafficcop.ca and give me a voice clip. Go to the button on the right-hand side of the screen. Send Sean a voicemail. And if you ask me that, I'll play your question on the podcast and we can just talk about it. I think that would be very cool. Deb wants to know if I watch the Leaf games. I don't watch hockey unless my kid wants to watch it, and they didn't watch it either. Okay, Club Catcher. Club Catcher says we have to be limited. Most bikes are capable of going faster. They just have a limiter on them. Yes and no. So you can't have a 10,000 watt bike that's limited to 32. That's not legal because we all know that it's capable of going faster and limited. It has to not be capable, not by switch, not by pulling a wire. It cannot be capable of exceeding. And the way that they've done that is they've said 500 watt motor. That's it. If it's more than a 500 watt motor, even if you've monkeyed it around with some switches and stuff and things, you're breaking the law. It's not based on the throttle and a digital limiter. Hughes Mackey sent me an ice cream cone, but I'm on a diet and a heart. Thank you so much. Lambton is my county. Station is across the road from my work. Oh, no kidding, Melody. Then maybe you can have a walk over there and ask him who the hell's making trouble on the live stream for us. OPP, we got no issue. This person's giving bad information, though. But maybe they don't care. But that's not cool. Tinsdale says we need some applicants in Belleville. No kidding. Specifically Belleville? Maverick wants to know if U-turns in main intersections are allowed. Kipling in the Queensway, for example. If it's not signed otherwise and it's not prohibited by way of unique situation, like there's a bunch of places that you can't. Hill with no crest of grade with no visibility, curves with no visibility. Yeah, there's a bunch of things like that. Places like railway crossings, tunnel, bridge, viaduct, not allowed. If you're interfering with traffic in any way, shape, or form, not allowed. Otherwise, it's not allowed. You're 100% responsible for anything that happens in a U-turn, though. So Santa Claus says hello, Sean. In Portugal and most places in Europe, your car has to be inspected every year, including the tires. Fantastic. I would love that. I think that would be good. Everyone stays happy and safe, hopefully. Just read July 1st, new federal laws, stricter regs, increased fines, upgrading new safety regs. Really? Jay, I'm going to go do some looking. Jay says July 1st, new regs. I've not seen anything yet, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Nisrin says, I got pulled over for the first time in my 18 years of driving for speeding 30 kilometers over and no warning. You got no warning that you were being pulled over, or you got no warning for doing 30 over? I wouldn't give you a warning for 30 over. First time or not, 30 over is completely ridiculous in terms of speed. There's no excuse for 30 over. I get it if you were coming, like if you were in an 80 and it became a 50 and it was a trap that way. Yeah, that's not cool. But like that, I wouldn't set up at a transitional speed location just because I'd want solid court where I got a conviction and you might have a defense there. Not because you're in the right, but because it's just not the best place. Like, and they probably get a lot of them there if it's a fishing hole, but you're still not in the right if you're doing 30 over where it transitions, because when it hits begins, you got to be paying attention for the signs and already reduce your speed in advance of the sign. So when you cross it, you're not exceeding the speed limit because they're legit tickets. It's just like I wouldn't set up there. Yeah, no one should ever expect a warning. Jacob says, so you only did traffic policing? No, I did all sorts of policing. I just happened to specialize in traffic and spend most of my time there. I always wanted to be in traffic, and I'm good at it. Santa Claus says, when Santa first got his large mobility scooter, the cops would pull him over quite often. I thought it was an ATV, the old school 3-wheel ones, because that's what it looks like. Interesting. I'd be curious to know what kind of one you got. And Santa says, great beard, Sean. You're letting it grow. Yeah, I'm going ZZ Top, I think. I messed around with it. I actually regret having trimmed it in some ways. I went to a beard grooming guru, and he really chopped it. I wasn't happy about it. So, I thought it looked good in the moment, but I was unhappy with it afterwards because I cut the sides down too much. Now I'm trying to recover and get more shape. But I don't know what I'm doing with it. I might chop it all off. I have no idea. Can't decide. Every day's an adventure. This is the longest I've ever had my facial hair. Let's see here. A whole bunch of stuff just okay. Cops have better things to do. I go 10 over and they don't even bother. But in the city, it's different. 10 over. The problem is that there's not enough cops to deal with the little stuff, and it is little stuff. 10 over is little. I never pulled people over for 10 over unless it was a 30 zone. If you were doing 10 over in a 60, you wouldn't have seen me unless I was really bored. Because I had so many people that were doing 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 over. We want to get the big offenders, big fish, not the little weenies. 10 over is just not worth it. Because then what happens is I pull you over for 10 over and 2 people go over for 30 over and get away with it. So I want to get the ones that are more impactful. Doesn't make it right for you to do it either. And if we can get everyone to speed down so there's no high flyers, then we'll come after the 10 over people too. I want actually I want people to get automatic enforcement everywhere. I want cameras everywhere. And 10 over should be a ticket on any street, even on the highway. Let's see here. Gecko says, my friend was just robbed. Pew pew point at Brown's line. Will the police find them? I don't know. I'd like them to be found, and anyone who, I've got some pretty strong opinions about what should happen to the people who use firearms or even just rob people without firearms. Those people need to have a very harsh and real experience. Rick says, if I drive a company pickup truck on personal time that has a CVOR, do I need to fill out a pre-trip? A pickup truck? I don't think you need a pre-trip on a pickup truck. I'm not a CVR guy, but I don't know why you. Well, anyway, I'm the wrong guy to ask about CVR stuff. I just don't. I never got into it. But if I'd call your. Who the heck can I ask for you? You send me an email, I'll get you an answer. Voiceovercop at Gmail, and I'll forward it off to a buddy of mine to get an answer. But I've never heard of a pickup truck doing a pre-trip ever. But again, I'm not a CVR guy. David Id says, do you have to signal lane changes as long as it doesn't impede? Sorry, do you have to signal lane changes as long as it doesn't impede with other drivers? The way the law is written is it says you must signal your intention to change lanes or direction if it might impact any other user of the road. And the problem is you don't know if there's any other user because you can't see any other user. Just signal always, because if there's somebody there to give you a ticket, they're the person or one of the people who may have been impacted by your lack of signaling, or you wouldn't have been pulled over. So Melody says clear lenses are okay as long as the bulb color and reflective color is correct. Good to know. Okay. That was for a question about could you have clear lenses if the color emitted was correct. But the bulb color, does that mean that bulb color when not illuminated must be correct? Or only when illuminated? I'm curious now. Can a person fight if they consent? Can you have a consensual fight? Yes. But at a certain point, a person cannot consent to having their ass whooped. So you can have a fight, but when the person can no longer defend themselves properly, it's no longer a fight. They cannot consent to that. A what test? Wide open throttle, foot to the floor. You guys need a track out back. Roaz says, hey again. Hey. FN Treaty Holder. I'm trying to decode your name. 12th Division might know. 12th Division. I used to work at 12th Division. What might they know? We covered this. Does using the phone while it's in a phone holder count as distracted driving? Yes. Cannot interact with the phone other than to swipe and answer or swipe and hang up. 1 + 1 = what? Is asking about Trump making U-turns. I don't know. Cabdo says people jailbreak their scooters. Yes, all the time they do. Even when they sell them and they try and control the maximum speed, yeah, they do. If you get caught going faster, you're so SOL. What's the difference between jail and prison? 2 years less a day, 2 years and up. Jail is 2 years less a day. Prison is that. And there's probably some comments about soap. Canada. If a cop on duty gets arrested for DUI, must the patrol vehicle also get impounded like us all? I would imagine it would. We've had police vehicles impounded before. Maverick says, thanks for answering, but I see a lot of cars do U-turns. I feel it's dangerous. It is dangerous. I think it's one of the most dangerous. X Savage says, how's it going, Sean? It's going well. Thanks for asking. We got, what do we have here? Richard answering questions for Nicholas about pretrial custody. Lulu says, I'm frustrated that my town police don't enforce e-bike rules. Definitely makes it difficult. Yes. And I'll tell you something. I was just on the radio today talking to Deb Hutton about the fact that she was almost taken out by an e-kick scooter that was powering down the sidewalk. Totally illegal in Toronto. And then in addition to that, like they're just dangerous anywhere you put them. I don't think they should be on the road. I have one. I think they're great for getting around a campsite. They were great when I used to take it to the Honda Indy. But now, nowhere else. Roger that, Melody. Melody hasn't seen anything about updated safety standards coming out yet. Oh, Legendary Ken says the new mandate, no truck lifts or cars before 2000. That's baloney. I'm told that was all fake. Tony Corrente or Sorrente? Anyway, 1 kilometer over is speeding. Yes, it is. Canada says, how many times have you been pulled over? Like 2 or 3 times when I was a kid. Got a couple of tickets. Never did that crap again. Never had any further problems. I follow the law. I don't speed. I don't do anything I shouldn't be doing. And it works out great. B58 says, I got 4 tickets and birthdays are wrong on them. What do I do? Well, you could either go and say, that ain't me, or you can say, these aren't me and they should be grounds for, dismissal. And they could either amend them or not amend them based on, whatever the justice of the peace determines is appropriate. They are the ultimate deciding factor. Was a Boomer Bears Ultimate? They were a smaller version of it now. I'm not familiar with this. Where? Oh, I don't know what we're talking about, Santa. All right. I'm seeing so many people where I live that are, children. You have to be 16 years old to operate an e-kick scooter where it's legal, and I'm seeing young kids. So not only am I seeing people using them illegally, I'm also, um, seeing kids that wouldn't be legal anywhere, like 8-year-olds, 10 years old. Oh, Boomer Beast Ultimate. Still don't know what we're talking about. Will says, can you rate my car? I'm getting my window chrome tint tomorrow. Chrome tint is illegal. So I can rate your tint without even seeing it. Not legal. Cannot put color coded or reflective tint on your cars. High flyers, yes. So Nicholas Rizzi wants to know if criminals that kill cops get hunted down by all the cops everywhere unite, or is that just the movie thing? It's more realistic than you think. Certainly, some people get caught with gusto. They call it the new Canadian driving law 2025 in this article. Jay, send me whatever article you got. voiceovercop@gmail. I'd love to read it. Santa Claus, I like the way you think. Your naughty list sounds like it's going to be very accurate. But that's an obvious thing. You're writing the list. You know what's going on. You know what is it? You see them when they sleep. When they be naughty, nice, the whole business. I trust your judgment. Saw a celebrity in the U.S. complaining that he got a 50 and a 35. Jay DeMarcus, not smart, posted it on IG. He's going to fight it. How do you fight speeding when you're speeding? Okay. What's your thought on Ford filing a patent on a camera system that reports speeding vehicles to police? Ford, the Premier, or Ford, the car company? I'm interested. Patrick says, you were a cool officer, meaning you are a decent human being. There's a lot of decent human beings. Very few aren't. But many people don't get to see that because the person who's engaged with them and who's dealing with them as a police officer is being very formal. Is a clear tint that helps reduce heat allowed on windshields? If it's optically correct, it wouldn't be a problem. As long as it doesn't tint. It's like the truth is that UV coatings are already on most windows. Oh my goodness. I was tired an hour ago. Now I'm really tired. Camera tickets for 10 over would be funny as police officers drive 10 over the limit all the time. It's true that police officers go 10 over. That's from Canada, the account called Canada. Somehow I don't think it's the official account for Canada, but police are legally permitted to exceed the posted speed limit. They have to. Everybody else is doing 10 over. Just to be able to blend in and go up between traffic to see what everybody else is doing for enforcement purposes alone. 10 over would be required, but we do 20 and 30 over. I've sped every day as a police officer legally. You can't do it legally. You're breaking the law. And if the camera gets everyone who goes 10 over, they would also get the police officers who would automatically be exempt and the ticket wouldn't be issued. Dave wants to know if Kearney banned vehicles that are 1990 and older. No. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't do that. First of all, the provinces create traffic law, not the prime minister. Totally not legit. Okay. Is it legal to ride a 50cc mini bike on the road? Not unless it is a licensed, insured, qualified, and safe for the road bike. There are 50cc motorcycles and mopeds. They're legal for the road if they're licensed and insured and so on. Will a cop pull over for one over? No, I don't. If they were really being a jerk, they would. But and it's legal. You're not allowed to do one over. But I can't imagine anyone doing it. B58, you could totally say it's not you, but good luck. You have the ticket. How'd you get it? They may have other information recorded correctly, and it may only be incorrect elsewhere. Beamer Boost. Sorry, Boomer Beast. That was the scooter. See, I totally gapped. Boomer Beast is the mobility scooter. Okay. Mr. Tuski said, "Hi, Sean. I had 20% tint and got pulled over twice, and cops never noticed. Should I keep it?" If you got pulled over and you haven't been ticketed, obviously you're not having problems. But 20% tint, meaning 80% of the light is being restricted, is not legal. And the officer who pulled you over may not care about it. Do they find illegal tint companies after they pull you over and find the driver? No, because it's not illegal to put tint on the car. It's illegal to drive on the road with it. Patrick wants to know if I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I have not been back on the bike, and I'm selling my personal bike. I got to take it to a car auto show and sell it. I've got a 99 Valkyrie Interstate that I need to sell. Just sitting there. My family's not prepared for me to get back on the bike after my collision. They've decided that I'm not allowed to die. Grasshopper Glass says, "How's it going, brother Sean?" Doing well, thanks, man. Can OPP, for example, pull over a Toronto cop car on duty for speeding? They could, not because it's speeding, but because speeding alone. OPP pulled over an OPP car and impounded it for stunt driving, which is, I think, ridiculous, but it happened. Oh, Dave says, "Okay, I see what's happening. That chat is behind, and I thought you were ignoring me." No, not ignoring you, but it is behind. It's like it takes me time to read and catch up. Iraq says, "Hi, Sean Shapiro. How you doing?" It's Iraq Al-Safar on Instagram. The viewer. John Downey says, "Love your content. Keep it up. Thanks very much." I shall try. B58 says, "How does that even happen?" But there were officers on scene. They all wanted to give me tickets, but didn't. I don't think I caught the last thing you said, because that doesn't jive. I don't get what you're saying. Quick Shot 100 says, "Is TPS still 7 on, 7 off?" No. So it used to be 7 on, 6 off, 7 on, 5 off, 7 off, 4 off. And then it went to, some places went 7 and 7, some went 4 and 4. Like they've all screwed up. I don't even know anymore what it is. I've never worked those shifts. I went from the old compressed right into days. Actually, no, I went 8 on, 8 and 6. I went 8 and 6, which is a modified shift pattern for the motor squad. And then I went days. Santa Claus only has a sleigh license. Right on. Toronto is like the equivalent of the LAPD, and OPP is the equivalent of the CHP. Yeah, California Highway Patrol, Ontario Provincial Police. Yeah, that pretty much is it. B58 is saying, like, how does that even happen? But what does it even happen? I'm caught up now. I'm at the most recent comment, because now Canada, Ontario just popped a question in. Is it true that Mark Carney is legalizing of tinted windows and lift kit? I'm everything I've been told says that was AI generated and crap, not real. Smelly Boy's mom, how you doing? All right. Oh, Pixel Guardian says, "I came over from TikTok." Welcome. You were very close to the screen. Let's see here. I got a ticket from Speed Camera in Toronto, and according to my car GPS system, Garmin tracking, An insurance tracking device installed, it contradicts the speed camera. Use it. If you've got evidence that's contrary, use it. Epic Life Enthusiast says those light cameras for intersections or for speeding is a great idea only if they work properly. 100%. Many modified electric bikes doing 50K in Thunder Bay. Those are all motor vehicles, motorcycles, not legal. Does the Sky Dome pay the Toronto police to be at all the ball games, or are they just cops at the ball game getting paid by the city? No, they're paid privately by the paid duty office through them. So it's actually part of the budget and spending of the Rogers Center, and we're working for them when we're there. If you want a cop at your store for extra security, what is the rate? The paid duty office, I think, publishes the rates. I don't remember what it is. It changes all the time. Patrick, thanks so much for the gifts. Patrick sent 4 roses and 10 GGs. Thank you. I don't know what a GG is, but it's nice. It's very kind of you. And Maverick, you're very welcome. Santa Claus vouches for the fact that the Mark Kearney video was an AI video, for that one anyway, and wants to know about motor vehicles that are 49cc. They're just a different category, low speed motorcycle, and a restricted access, or there's no like the expressway is a controlled access highway. So all roads in Ontario are highways, but controlled access highways deal with the high speed ones, and you can't be 49cc on the highway, but you could get one licensed for the road if it meets all the requirements. Quick Shot 100 wants to know if I was a reduced speed guy or a full tag guy. So this is whether I pulled someone over for speeding and if I wrote up the ticket for exactly what they did, or I reduced it. Well, it depends on the situation. So if I got you doing 15 over, or sorry, anything under 20 over, I'd knock it down to 15 over, so you'd reduce the points. If you were over 20, you got the actual ticket. But I reduced in some circumstances, and I did once reduce someone who was 50 over to 49 over to prevent them from losing their car. And then they went to court, and that was like the last time I ever reduced a ticket. Could I get a ticket for a cracked windshield? Sure. Do you see my comment on top? That's from B58. I saw a bunch of comments, but the last thing I saw was like, does that even happen? I got a lot of them that say B58 and I have an ellipses, but there's no comment there. So if they got like dramatically got your identification wrong, you could certainly ask for it to be dismissed, whether they choose to do it. Like if their actual evidence in the back has it all correct, but the front is screwed up, it could be a fatal flaw. It could be amended. Depends on what the prosecutor and or really the bench says. Registration for a trailer, I think it's only once. How does that happen? I don't have an excuse. I don't know. I can't defend it. Spider 3 Aces, where's Logan Bean? Apparently he's at a hockey game tonight. Before that, he was here on Thursday last week. Cool. It's 2 hours and 13 seconds into the live stream, and I need to go and do something other than sit here. So I appreciate you. I'm glad that we got to spend some time together. I will be back no, I won't be. I'm going to be at a military base tomorrow at 10 o'clock where I would normally be here. I might try and do a live in the evening tomorrow to make up for it. We'll see how it goes. But there's no 10 o'clock tomorrow. I will be back here 9 p.m. on Thursday, hopefully with Logan. And thank you to Maverick who says thanks. And guys, don't forget to follow Sean. Yeah, if you don't already follow me, please do. Share my content with your friends. Make fun of them. Tell them they need to get help and guidance by driving better. Now, in addition to that, know that I am reading the driver's handbook. Oh yes, this magical book. I'm reading it page by page until it's done. I've got 3 chapters or 3 sections done. I'm continuing to add them on a regular basis. I just published one a couple days ago. But I hope to have another one done before the week is out, and we want to muscle through it until the end, and then we're going to do the motorcycle one after that. And then I'm going to get them translated into different languages to help everyone. I want everyone to get the contents of that book. And people say, I don't need that to pass the test. You might be able to wing it and pass the test. That won't make you a better driver. Knowing the information here and getting professional driving instruction is the way to do it. Patrick says, I had a question from a customer. Can anyone drive a forklift on a public road? No, you can't drive a forklift on a public road. Generally speaking, it's not permitted. Implements of husbandry, which are farming utensils or devices, can, but forklift is breaking the law when it does it. Technically, is a motorcycle more likely to get pulled over by a car? If yes, why? No, it's not. It's just a violator is more likely to get pulled over by people than people who don't break the law. That's how it works. Is vehicle impoundment extending for impaired and stunt driving? I'd love to see it happen, but I don't think it is. Patrick sent flowers. Thanks so much. And Thiago says, just kidding. All right. Have you ever pulled someone over and had a holy shit moment? If so, who was it? I had a newscaster that I gave a break to, and I regretted it because he was a douchebag. Have you ever been a cop at a ball game? Yes. Okay, I think we really. Oh, it's dad jokes. I had a couple of dad jokes flagged. Hang on a second. Motorcycle experience at the beginning of the show sent joke. Dogs are not allowed to operate an MRI machine, but cats can. Oh, had the fader turned down. Let's try it again. Dogs are not allowed to operate an MRI machine, but cats can. Much better. And I could have put that on the screen like that. Epic Life Enthusiast says, quote, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. I like that. I like that a lot. Bernhardt sent the dad joke. A bossy staff sergeant walked into a bar and ordered everyone around. Bossy, he ordered everybody around. Staff sergeant's manager. Yeah. It's not bad at all. What's the weirdest thing that happened when you pulled someone over? I don't know. It was pretty standard. They broke the law. They got caught. They cried. Mascara ran. That was just the guys. It depends. Everyone apparently needed to poo when they got pulled over. Like, there's just so many excuses, and none of them were actual excuses. Liz, you sent a question earlier. Did I ignore you? Because Liz just came in and said, have a great night. Happy sleeping. But I vaguely remember seeing here. Has this happened to you? Several times I've approached a 3 or 4-way stop. A 3-4-way stop. I should have been the first to proceed, but the other car will stop well before the white line on the road to proceed first. Oh, they just hammer down on the brakes to say that they did it first, so they can bump the. Here's the thing, and this is borrowing, and I always give credit to my friend Scott Marshall, and he's a safe driver, by the way, on social media. The deal with right of way is that it's something you give. It's not something you can take. So if someone wants to be a douche about the whole right of way and say, I did it first, technically they're in the wrong. It's not worth having the fight. Let them go. What's an extra 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is. What was that joke? Oh no, it's a your mama joke. Your mama's so fat. When she fell on your Nintendo, you got up and there was nothing there but 2 Game Boys. I don't want to get into mama jokes, but dad jokes are much better and offend fewer people. All right. Okay, I will see you Thursday, unless I can do an impromptu live tomorrow. If I do, it might be on the road at the military base. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'll probably create some content in the absence of a live stream. All right. Have a good one. Stay safe. Drive sober and smile, because at least you're smiling. Well, as long as you brush your teeth.